The Orlando Mountains at night were fraught with peril. Eerie gleams in the darkness were the eyes of wild beasts, and the piercing shrill cries of birds were enough to make one's blood run cold. The Blue Enchantress mercenary group did not light any torches. The mercenaries, laden with large packs of loot and escorting a troop of orc cubs, made their way through the mountains in the dark. Their progress was difficult. On the treacherous, dark paths, mercenaries would occasionally stumble and reckless large beasts would suddenly charge them. But any beast that attacked the party was dispatched by arrows shot from the darkness before it could get close. The few that managed to rush the line were instantly engulfed in Edeline's flames. They walked for nearly the entire night without stopping, only taking their first break when the first hint of dawn appeared. Even then, the stop was forced upon them, for no matter how the mercenaries cracked their whips, the captured young orcs could simply walk no further. All the orc cubs had collapsed to the ground. After setting up a simple perimeter, the mercenaries began to rest in shifts. Arthur had silently observed the mercenaries' actions the entire way, committing to memory even the things he couldn't understand. Exhausted from the battle and the overnight march, the mercenaries quickly fell asleep. Even the guards on watch couldn't help but doze off. Dawn had broken and the danger had passed. After an unknown period of sleep, the mercenaries were jolted awake by a sudden cry. In an instant, every mercenary grabbed their weapon, ready for battle. "Tony, what in the hell are you screaming about?" Keynes asked, sitting up with a yawn. "Boss, the little lion escaped." "How? Didn't I tell you to tie him up tight? Look at the cut on this rope, it's clean. He was rescued," Tony said, holding up 2 pieces of neatly severed rope for Keynes to see. Keynes frowned slightly. "Did any of the other cubs escape?" "No, just the little lion." "Forget it. If he's gone, he's gone. We'll rest a bit longer then set out. The sooner we leave this place, the better, lest more complications arise." "What?" Tony's jaw nearly dropped. "Boss, how can you just let it go? That little lion was our biggest prize this time. And I suspect we have a traitor among us. There's no way anyone else could have bypassed our guards so easily." As he spoke, Tony's gaze shifted to Arthur. Keynes waved his hand. "No need to investigate. It's actually a good thing that the little lion escaped." "A good thing?" Tony scratched his head in confusion. "Didn't you notice the color of his battle aura? That was Crimson Sun Molten Gold, the highest level aura of the Golden Lion clan, and only family members qualified to be heirs can cultivate it. The Golden Lions are one of the 3 most powerful orc clans. Their spies are everywhere, even here in human lands. What do you think they would do if they found out their heir was being sold as a human slave?" Though his tone was calm, it carried a heavy weight. Tony, Angus, and the surrounding mercenaries all drew in a sharp breath. It would mean another war between humans and orcs. Keynes gave Arthur a meaningful wink, which was met with a polite smile. 3 days later, the Blue Enchantress mercenary group emerged from the Orlando Mountains, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Arthur suddenly noticed a new person in their ranks. It was a slender, handsome man carrying a large bow entwined with green vines and carved with beautiful patterns. The pointed ears peeking through his smooth, golden hair revealed his elven identity. He was the archer who had remained hidden in the shadows. Although humans and elves were not enemies like they were with the orcs, elves rarely appeared in human kingdoms and more strictly forbade humans from entering their lands. Arthur was intensely curious as to how this elf, named Elia, had become a member of the Blue Enchantress. Seeing Arthur staring at him, the elf Elia gave a slight nod and a smile, his every move showcasing the classic grace and courtesy of an elf. 2 days later, a great city appeared before them. The city walls, built from gray basalt, stood at least 20 meters high, topped with 7 or 8 meter tall watchtowers. Massive ballistae were mounted between the crenellations, and soldiers armed with weapons patrolled back and forth. The drawbridge at the city gate was lowered, and a long queue of people waiting to enter and exit formed at the massive arched gate, where a squad of soldiers carefully inspected the crowd. This was the headquarters of the Blue Enchantress mercenary group, the small border city of Huaores in the human kingdom of Isaac. Huaores was also the first line of defense against orc attacks. The city had fallen and been retaken several times throughout history. The bricks covered in the marks of swords and axes and the dark brown bloodstains on the walls were the best proof of its past. Thus, even in peacetime its defenses were never relaxed, and a reinforced garrison regiment of 5,000 men was stationed within. Arthur stared at the giant city in a daze. From the small village of his birth to the dilapidated orc camp, this was the first time he had ever seen such a tall, magnificent structure. The mercenary group did not queue up. Led by Keynes, they walked straight toward the city gate. "Captain Keynes, a good haul this time, I see." The captain of the guard was clearly very familiar with Keynes. Not only did he not inspect them, but he greeted them warmly. "Just got lucky. Caught a few orc brats. This is for the brothers to have a drink," Keynes said, casually tossing a few gold coins to the captain, which earned a round of flattery from the guards. Mercenaries held a status in the human kingdom second only to nobles and merchants. Because mercenary groups were obligated to assist in a city's defense during wartime, all cities welcomed their presence, especially large ones. The strength of a single A-rank mercenary group could even surpass that of a division in the human army. As the largest city on the border, Huaores was very prosperous in times of peace. The Orlando Mountains were rich in resources, producing vast quantities of rare ores, precious herbs and materials from magical beasts. Even some goods smuggled from the orc wasteland could be obtained in large amounts. The streets were lined with apothecaries, weapon shops and trading houses, and the wide avenues bustled with people. Arthur, who had never seen so many people, was dazzled. Everything was new and strange to him. Because they were escorting a line of young orcs, the blue enchantress attracted many onlookers. Brazen children even threw stones and spat at the cubs. The conflict between humans and orcs was deeply rooted even in the hearts of children, passed down from one generation to the next. In a corner of southern Huaores, a large man stood before the gate of a huge courtyard enclosed by a blue stone wall. The fat man had a cold expression, his face a mass of fierce-looking flesh, and his protruding belly was like a small hill. He had only one arm. The sleeve on his other side was cut off at the shoulder. As the group drew near, the fat man took a few steps forward to meet them, a slight smile finally appearing on his face. "Brothers, welcome home,"